The new Jahaz moved quietly through the endless darkness of space, its silver hull reflecting faint starlight like a mirror. Captain Alara Singh sat in the bridge, her hands resting lightly on the console, eyes scanning the endless points of light ahead. This mission was unlike any humanity had ever attempted. While countless explorers had crossed known star systems, this journey took them far beyond anything charted or mapped. The universe they were entering was a blank canvas, a place where human curiosity had never set foot. The ship itself was a marvel of human ingenuity. Every panel, every instrument had been designed by the finest minds of Earth. Drones hovered in the corridors, checking systems and monitoring minor anomalies. AI assistants quietly analyzed star data, searching for patterns that could hint at the unknown. Yet, despite all their technology, Captain Singh felt a thrill of uncertainty. The human mind craved exploration, but the heart remembered the risks. "Captain," said Lieutenant Ryan Voss, the ship's navigator, breaking the silence. "I'm picking up an unusual reading about 10 million kilometers ahead. It doesn't match anything in the database." Alara leaned forward, her dark eyes narrowing. "Unusual how?" "It's hard to define," Ryan replied, his fingers dancing across the console. "Gravitational waves, energy readings, nothing normal. It's almost as if space itself is bending differently around this point." The captain sat back, considering. Every instinct told her to approach cautiously, but the explorer's fire within her could not resist. "Prepare a closer scan," she ordered. "Let's see what we're dealing with. And keep sensors on full alert." Ryan nodded, and the ship's engines hummed softly as they adjusted their course. Outside, stars stretched into streaks of white as the Jahaz accelerated. The crew watched in awe as space, so familiar in its black emptiness, began to change. Faint ribbons of light, shifting colors they had never catalogued, danced along the ship's path. There was something alive about this place, though the crew could not yet understand it. "Are you sure this is safe?" asked Dr. Mara Chen, the chief scientist, her voice quiet but tense. She studied the readings with keen attention. "We don't even know if our instruments can fully measure whatever is out there." Alara smiled faintly. "Safe is a relative word, Doctor. But that's why we're here. Humanity has always reached further when we take the unknown in stride." "We'll proceed carefully, but we will proceed." The ship's AI, a calm voice known simply as Luma, spoke. "Captain, sensors indicate a mass approximately the size of Earth directly ahead. Visual analysis confirms it is not catalogued in any star chart. Atmospheric composition appears unusual, and gravitational measurements fluctuate periodically." The crew leaned closer to their screens, absorbing the data. Nothing in human history had prepared them for the sight of a planet floating alone in a void, untouched by any known civilization. It shimmered faintly, as though made from liquid glass, reflecting starlight in strange, impossible angles. The surface seemed to ripple and shift subtly, almost like a heartbeat. "It's beautiful," whispered Ryan. "Yes," agreed Dr. Chen, "but it's also impossible. No recorded celestial body behaves like this. It's almost alive." Alara's gaze did not leave the viewing screen. She had spent years preparing for moments like this, studying exploration reports and star maps. But nothing could have prepared her for the sight of a completely unknown world waiting silently in space. "We are not here to understand it immediately," she said softly. "We are here to observe, to gather data, and to respect what we encounter. Keep your minds sharp. Curiosity will guide us, but care must lead the way." The ship drew closer, and the strange rippling surface revealed more details. Large crystalline structures emerged from the ground, catching light in dazzling refracted patterns. The formations were unlike anything humans had seen, towers and domes, smooth yet impossibly delicate, rising toward the sky as if grown, not built. Some structures even seemed to float slightly above the surface, defying known physics. "It's like someone designed this place, then left it behind," said Ryan, awe in his voice. "Or maybe it was built for us to find." Alara considered his words. "Perhaps, or maybe it's simply a world that waits for those who can understand it. Either way, we proceed with respect." As the ship slowed, the crew prepared for the first landing. Small pods were loaded with equipment, environmental scanners, drones, and research instruments. Alara personally oversaw the preparations, ensuring each crew member understood the mission: observe, analyze, and return safely. There was no rush. The new Jahaz had reached its destination, and this was only the beginning. The pods detached and descended slowly, gliding through the planet's atmosphere. The crew could see the surface in increasing detail: glowing vegetation, translucent crystals, and a faint, rhythmic pulsing that seemed to echo through the air. The planet did not feel hostile. Rather, it felt alive, aware, and patient. Lieutenant Voss piloted the lead pod, marveling at every detail. "This is beyond anything I imagined," he said over the comm. "It's like a dream made real." Dr. Chen carefully deployed her scanners. "Energy readings are stable but unusual. This planet doesn't conform to normal chemical or physical laws. Its life forms, if we can call them that, operate on patterns I have never seen. It's almost as if the planet itself thinks, or at least responds to us." The pods touched down near one of the larger crystalline structures. The crew stepped out, taking their first steps on the alien surface. Every footstep produced a faint vibration in the ground, as though the planet was acknowledging their presence. The air was breathable but carried a subtle, sweet scent, unlike anything on Earth. Light pulsed through the crystals, reflecting onto the explorers in soft, shifting colors. Alara walked slowly, her eyes scanning every detail. She felt a strange sense of peace here, as though the world itself was inviting them to explore. "Remember," she reminded the crew, "we are visitors. Observe carefully. Interact respectfully. Do not assume anything." As they moved closer to the crystalline towers, the explorers noticed markings etched into the surfaces. At first, they seemed random, but patterns emerged with careful observation. The symbols pulsed faintly, glowing in response to movement. "Could this be some form of communication?" asked Dr. Chen. "Or decoration?" Ryan bent closer. "No, these are intentional. Look at the repetition. It's almost like instructions." Alara nodded, her heart racing with anticipation. "Then we are not merely observing. We are reading what this planet wants to tell us. Humanity has always found ways to understand the unknown. Let's see if we can do it here." For hours, the crew worked carefully, scanning, photographing, and analyzing the structures. Every discovery led to more questions. The crystalline towers seemed to react subtly to their presence, shifting and reflecting light in new patterns. Drones sent into higher areas returned with images of complex, fractal-like designs, impossible to replicate artificially on Earth. Despite the strangeness, the crew felt no fear. There was awe, curiosity, and a quiet understanding that this world, though alien, was not hostile. It seemed to test patience and intellect, not strength. Humanity had always thrived where intellect and creativity were required, and now, standing on this distant world, the crew felt the same drive. As night, or what passed for night on this world, fell, the sky lit up with an aurora unlike any seen on Earth. Shimmering colors danced across the horizon, reflected in the crystalline towers and casting long, surreal shadows. The crew gathered near the lead pod, silent, staring at the spectacle. "This is why we explore," Alara said softly. "Not for conquest, not for power, but for wonder, Humanity's strength has always been our curiosity, our ability to understand and adapt. Here on this world no one has ever charted, we are reminded of that truth. Luma's calm voice spoke through the calm, breaking the silence. Captain, energy readings from the planet are fluctuating. The pulses appear synchronized with our movements and scanning patterns. It is as if the planet is learning about us. Alara smiled faintly. Then let's make sure it learns something good. Let's show it what humans can do. As the crew prepared for the next day's exploration, a sense of excitement and purpose filled the air. Humanity had arrived in a place beyond maps, beyond knowledge, yet not beyond understanding. They were small in comparison to the vastness of the universe, yet capable of reaching further than any species before them. Captain Singh looked out at the glowing world, a mix of nerves and exhilaration racing through her. This was only the beginning. Whatever awaited them in the depths of this uncharted planet, she knew one thing clearly. Humans would meet it with intelligence, respect, and unyielding curiosity. The new Jahaz had reached its destination, and humanity had taken its first steps into a world no one else had ever touched. The stars outside seemed to shimmer brighter, almost in acknowledgement, as the crew settled for the night. Sleep was light, but minds were alive, buzzing with ideas, possibilities, and the silent promise of discoveries yet to come. Somewhere in the reflective glow of the crystalline towers, the planet waited, patient and aware, for the explorers who dared to enter its domain. And for the first time, the new Jahaz crew understood that this was more than a mission. It was a dialogue, a conversation between human curiosity and the mysterious intelligence of the universe itself. Humanity had arrived, and the universe had noticed. The first light of the alien world filtered through the crystalline towers, casting soft, prismatic patterns across the landscape. Captain Alara Singh rose from her sleep chamber, her mind already alive with questions and plans. The first day had been an awe-inspiring mix of wonder and careful observation, but today promised more discoveries, more mysteries, and perhaps more answers. The new Jahaz itself remained in orbit, humming quietly, a safe haven amid the alien brilliance below. Alara made her way to the main observation deck where Lieutenant Rian Voss was already studying the readings. His eyes, normally sharp and confident, were wide with awe as he gestured toward the readings projected in holographic displays. "Captain, you have to see this," he said, his voice a mixture of excitement and disbelief. "The planet, it's changing. Or maybe it's responding to us." Alara stepped closer, her gaze sweeping over the display. Energy readings, light patterns, and subtle fluctuations in gravity were not constant. They appeared to shift in direct correlation with the crew's actions yesterday. Every scan, every movement of their drones seemed to have been recorded and reflected back by the planet in subtle ways. "It's as if it's learning," she murmured, "or at least observing. The planet itself is alive in a way we have never known." Dr. Mara Chen entered, holding a tablet filled with new data. "I've been analyzing the chemical and energy readings overnight," she said. "The environment is stable, breathable, and the plant life, it's almost conscious. When I reviewed yesterday's footage, I noticed subtle changes in the bioluminescence near our landing site. The plants seem to react to our presence, not aggressively, but curiously." Alara nodded. "Then we proceed carefully. We do not know the extent of its awareness. Remember, we are guests here." She turned to the team gathered on the deck. "Today we explore further. We observe, we record, and we interact respectfully. Every discovery, no matter how small, matters." The landing pods descended again, this time carrying a larger team and additional equipment. The planet's surface revealed more details with every step they took. Crystalline structures, some hundreds of meters high, pulsed with soft light. The ground beneath them shimmered faintly, as if reflecting the energy of the stars above. Alara's footsteps echoed softly as she led the team toward one of the largest towers. "This one is incredible," whispered Rian, reaching out to touch the smooth, translucent surface. His fingers did not meet cold stone, but a warm, subtly vibrating material. The crystal seemed to resonate slightly, as though responding to his touch. "It's alive," he said quietly, a note of awe in his voice. Dr. Chen activated her portable scanner, sweeping it across the tower's surface. "The material doesn't match any known minerals or compounds," she explained. "Its structure is incredibly complex, almost fractal in nature, and the vibrations, they appear to communicate something, patterns, intent, purpose." Alara studied the pulsing light. "Then perhaps it wants us to understand. Let's see if we can read it, learn from it." The team spent hours studying the tower, attempting to decode the patterns. At first, the symbols and lights seemed random, but slowly, the structure revealed hints of logic. Repeating sequences, geometric designs, and shifting lights suggested communication, or at least intention. Small drones were dispatched to climb the towers, transmitting live images to the ship. Every movement the drones made caused subtle reactions in the crystal towers below, as if the planet was testing their observation and problem-solving skills. Hours passed, like minutes. The crew worked tirelessly, their curiosity driving them onward. They discovered that certain patterns caused specific changes in the tower's illumination, almost like solving a puzzle. Every correct observation unlocked a small new reaction. A soft glow here, a subtle shift there. The planet seemed patient, guiding them slowly, encouraging them to understand without rushing. "This is incredible," Dr. Chen said, leaning over a console. "The planet is teaching us, but it's doing so in a way that requires collaboration. Solo efforts don't trigger much response. It's almost as if it wants us to work together." Alara smiled. "Then we shall. Humans have always excelled when we combine our skills. Let's continue as a team." As the day wore on, the team discovered a network of tunnels leading from the base of the tower. The openings were perfectly smooth, as if carved with intention, yet no tool marks were visible. The tunnels glowed faintly from the crystalline walls, illuminating the path forward. "It's inviting us in," Ryan whispered, stepping toward the first opening. Inside, the tunnels opened into a vast chamber filled with more crystalline structures. Light pulsed along the walls in rhythmic patterns, and the floor beneath their feet seemed almost alive, adjusting subtly to their weight. The chamber had an overwhelming sense of intelligence, a presence that could be felt more than seen. Dr. Chen moved slowly through the chamber, scanning and recording. "The energy patterns here are incredible," she said. "It's like a network, all connected. The planet itself may be conscious, but not in a way we understand. It's more collective, like a mind made of light and crystal." Alara felt a strange mix of wonder and humility. Humans had always explored, always learned, but this was beyond anything they had known. "We are small here," she said softly, "but our minds are capable. That is our strength. Observation, logic, creativity, that is what the planet seems to value." As they explored further, the chamber led to a vast, open space. In the center stood a formation unlike the towers outside. It was a circular structure, perfectly smooth, and radiating soft, warm light. As the crew approached, the light pulsed more strongly, almost like a heartbeat. The team instinctively slowed, feeling a sense of reverence. "Captain," Ryan said quietly, "the patterns here, they're different. They seem more intentional, almost like a message waiting to be read." Alara nodded. "Then we must observe carefully. Humans have always learned by watching, by listening. Let's do that here. Over hours of careful observation, the crew began to notice patterns in the light and structure. Certain movements triggered responses, subtle shifts in illumination, and changes in the pulsing energy. It was a puzzle unlike any they had encountered, a puzzle that required patience, collaboration, and human creativity. As the day turned toward night, the chamber glowed more brightly. The patterns became clearer, and the crew realized that the planet was guiding them through a process. It was teaching them something, though the full meaning remained elusive. Every action had an effect. Every observation revealed a connection. The planet was alive, aware, and patient. Dr. Chen turned to Alara. "Captain, I think I understand part of it. This place, it's testing us, not for survival, not for competition, but for intelligence, problem-solving, collaboration. Humanity's qualities, it wants to see what we can do." Alara felt a thrill of pride. "Then we are not just visitors. We are participants. Humanity has always risen to challenges that require thought and cooperation. This planet has found us worthy, if we can meet its expectations." Ryan stepped forward, touching one of the glowing surfaces. The crystal pulsed brightly, responding to his gesture. "It's acknowledging us," he whispered. "Like it knows we're here, like it's waiting for our next move." The crew worked late into the alien night, driven by excitement and curiosity. Each discovery led to new questions, and each pattern solved revealed new layers of complexity. The planet was a master teacher, silent and patient, allowing the humans to explore at their own pace. Captain Singh looked at her team, a sense of pride swelling within her. Humans were small in the vast universe, but their minds were capable of extraordinary things. Curiosity, creativity, collaboration, these were traits that no alien force could match. On this uncharted world, these qualities mattered more than strength or speed. As the crew prepared to rest for the night, a subtle change occurred in the chamber. The light pulsed in a slow, steady rhythm, synchronized with their previous actions. It was as if the planet was acknowledging their progress, recognizing their efforts, and preparing them for what lay ahead. Alara felt a quiet exhilaration. Humanity had arrived in a place no one else had ever reached. They were small, but capable. They were visitors, but also participants in something greater, a dialogue between human curiosity and the intelligence of the universe. The pods returned to the new Jahaz in orbit, carrying the exhausted but exhilarated crew. Data streamed back to the ship, filling consoles and storage units with recordings of patterns, energy fluctuations, and crystalline designs. Each crew member processed what they had seen, their minds buzzing with questions and possibilities. Captain Singh stood alone on the observation deck, gazing down at the glowing planet below. The lights pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat, as if the planet itself were alive, aware, and waiting. "Tomorrow," she whispered to herself, "we will learn more. We will continue to show what humanity can do. And perhaps, this planet will teach us things we never imagined." As the new Jahaz orbited silently, the planet below shimmered and glowed, patient, aware, and alive. Humanity had taken its second step into the unknown, guided by curiosity, intelligence, and the unyielding spirit that had always defined them. The adventure was far from over, but one thing was certain: humans had arrived, and the universe had begun to take notice. The crew slept lightly, dreams filled with patterns of light, shifting crystals, and the promise of discoveries yet to come. And somewhere, in the quiet, glowing heart of the alien world, the planet waited, patient and observant, for the humans who dared to explore its mysteries. The new Jahaz hung silently in orbit above the glowing planet, its hull reflecting the soft pulses of light from the surface below. Captain Alara Singh stood at the observation deck, eyes fixed on the intricate patterns shifting across the crystalline towers. Every day brought new discoveries, but today felt different. The planet seemed to hum with expectation, as though it sensed the crew's growing understanding and was ready to reveal more. "Captain, I've never seen energy fluctuations like this," said Dr. Mara Chen, joining her on the deck. "The readings indicate a kind of communication, not sound, not light as we know it, but something deeper. The planet seems aware of our thoughts in a way that aligns with our actions. Our presence affects it, and it responds almost immediately." Alara nodded. "Then we must proceed with patience. The more we understand, the further we can go. Every step we take teaches us not only about this world, but about ourselves." Lieutenant Ryan Voss entered, his expression a mixture of excitement and determination. "Captain, the crew is ready. We've organized into 2 teams for today's exploration. One will continue decoding the patterns in the central chamber. The other will map new areas along the crystalline structures." "Good," Alara said. "We work as one crew. Remember, this planet is testing more than our intelligence. It is testing our cooperation. Let's be ready to learn together." The landing pods descended carefully, gliding through the glowing atmosphere. As the first group touched down near the central tower, the crew noticed subtle changes. The light pulses in the crystalline structures had become faster and more vivid, as if acknowledging their arrival. Even the ground beneath them seemed to shift gently, guiding their steps along preferred paths. "This feels different," Ryan said, stepping out of the pod. "Like the planet knows we've returned and is ready for something new." Dr. Chen swept her portable scanner across the ground. "The energy patterns are shifting in response to our positions. It's almost as if the planet is asking questions, testing our understanding of cause and effect." Alara gestured toward the tower. "Then we must answer carefully. Humanity has always risen to challenges that demand observation and intelligence. Let's see what this one wants from us." As the team approached the central chamber, the pulsing light became more pronounced. The crystalline walls shimmered, and subtle geometric patterns appeared in the air, visible only when viewed from certain angles. The crew realized that the planet was teaching them to see in new ways, to notice connections they might otherwise overlook. Ryan stepped closer to the nearest wall. "Captain, look at this. The patterns aren't random. They change depending on where you stand. It's almost like the planet is creating a dynamic puzzle for us." Alara studied the shifting lights. "Then we must solve it. Not for reward, not for achievement, but to understand. That is the essence of humanity's curiosity. Let's pay attention and learn." Hours passed as the crew worked together, observing the walls and moving strategically through the chamber. They discovered that certain sequences of movement triggered more complex light patterns. When they coordinated carefully, the lights formed images, simple at first, but gradually more intricate. Shapes resembling constellations, networks, and even abstract symbols appeared, hinting at knowledge that the planet wished to share. Dr. Chen was particularly fascinated. "These patterns," she said, pointing at a cluster of luminous shapes, "are structured. They contain information. I can't fully decode it yet, but it's a form of logic. The planet is teaching us its language, one step at a time." Ryan laughed softly. "It's like a game, but not a game in the way we know. It's testing our patience, our cooperation, our observation skills. Humanity has always excelled when thinking together." Alara smiled. "Then we proceed as one. Let's see how far we can go." Meanwhile, the second team explored along the edges of the crystalline towers. They discovered corridors of light connecting different structures, forming pathways that were invisible from the surface. The walls of these corridors pulsed softly, guiding the explorers toward hidden chambers filled with smaller crystals. Each crystal emitted a unique frequency, which combined to create a soft harmony. "Listen to this," said one of the team members, crouching to examine the harmonics. The sounds are not random. They change depending on how we move or touch the crystals. It's like the planet is teaching us music in a way we can feel as much as hear. Dr. Chen joined them, her eyes wide with wonder. These harmonics may contain information, patterns within patterns. If we study them carefully, they could reveal principles of energy, geometry, and possibly even physics that we've never encountered. Back in the central chamber, Alara guided her team through increasingly complex sequences of movement and observation. The crystalline walls responded with pulsing light and shifting patterns that seemed to mirror their actions. For every correct step, the light intensified, as if praising their efforts. For mistakes, the patterns subtly adjusted, encouraging the team to reconsider and try again. "This is incredible," Dr. Chen said, her voice filled with awe. "The planet is teaching us not just facts, but thought processes. Observation, experimentation, deduction. It's like learning directly from the universe itself." Ryan stepped forward, touching one of the glowing surfaces. Immediately, the chamber responded with a dazzling display of light, forming a spiral that extended upward, almost like a staircase made of energy. "Captain," he said, his voice trembling slightly, "the planet, it's showing us a path. Maybe it wants us to follow." Alara nodded. "Then we follow, carefully, with respect. Every step is a lesson." The crew ascended the spiral path, their movements synchronized to the pulses of light. As they climbed, the walls shifted, revealing more intricate patterns. Symbols appeared that resembled mathematical formulas, geometric sequences, and abstract diagrams. It was as if the planet itself was offering knowledge, but only to those patient enough to learn it. At the top of the spiral, they found a vast platform overlooking the rest of the crystalline city. The view was breathtaking. Towers stretched endlessly in all directions, connected by glowing pathways. The harmony of light, sound, and energy created a sense of balance and intelligence that the crew could feel as well as see. Dr. Chen knelt to examine the surface of the platform. "The energy here is different," she said. "Stronger, more refined. This may be the planet's central node, its core of communication and intelligence. If we study this carefully, we might understand the patterns of the entire world." Ryan's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Captain, the planet has been guiding us all along. Each chamber, each crystal, each pulse. It's a sequence leading here. Humanity has solved the first challenges, and now we're at the heart of its design." Alara looked at the glowing expanse, feeling a mix of humility and pride. "We are small, but capable. This planet tests patience, intelligence, and collaboration. Humanity has never failed in those areas. Let's continue carefully and see what we can learn." For hours, the crew studied the central platform. They discovered that touching the right crystals in the right sequence caused subtle changes in the energy patterns across the entire city. The pulsing lights intensified, forming waves of harmony that echoed through the towers. It was as if the planet was responding directly to their intelligence, acknowledging that they had understood its lessons so far. Dr. Chen looked at Alara, her eyes shining. "Captain, I think the planet is not just testing us, it's recognizing us. It's aware of what humans can do, and it is rewarding our understanding with more information. This is a level of communication unlike anything we've seen." Rian smiled broadly. "It's like we're having a conversation with the planet, not with words, but with thought, action, and observation. Humanity has always been able to communicate in ways others cannot. This is one of those moments." Alara felt a deep sense of connection. Humanity had always explored the unknown, driven by curiosity, creativity, and cooperation. Here, in a world that no one had charted, those same qualities were proving their worth. "We have arrived in a place beyond maps," she said softly. But we are not lost. We are learning. And that is what it means to be human. As the day drew to a close, the team gathered on the central platform to rest and review their findings. The energy of the planet continued to pulse around them, a constant reminder that their work was part of a greater dialogue. Each crew member felt a profound sense of awe and purpose. They were explorers, yes, but also students of a world far older and more intelligent than themselves. Alara stood at the edge of the platform, looking out across the crystalline city. Light pulsed softly, synchronized with the patterns they had discovered. Somewhere in the depths of the planet, a conscious presence waited, patient and aware, for the humans who had dared to understand it. "This is only the beginning," she said quietly. "Tomorrow we will learn more. We will continue to show humanity's intelligence, patience, and cooperation. And in return, perhaps the planet will teach us things we have never imagined." The pods returned to orbit as the crew rested, their minds alive with patterns of light, energy sequences, and the faint pulse of the planet beneath them. Humanity had taken another step forward, proving that intelligence, curiosity, and collaboration could open doors no one else could. The planet glowed softly below, patient, aware, and responsive. It had tested the humans, recognized their potential, and waited to see how far they could go. And the new Jahaz, small yet capable, was ready to continue its exploration of this world that no one else had ever charted. Captain Singh looked at the glowing horizon and felt a deep sense of pride. Humans were small in the universe, but their minds were limitless. Curiosity and cooperation had carried them farther than anyone could imagine. The adventure was far from over, and the planet had many more lessons to teach, but humanity was ready. They had arrived, and they had proven that they could meet the challenges of the unknown. And somewhere, deep within the heart of the alien world, the planet pulsed in quiet recognition, aware that humans were worthy of the knowledge it held. The crew of the new Jahaz returned to the strange structures on the unknown planet the next morning, their minds still full of questions from the discoveries of the previous days. Captain Alara Singh led the small team across the glowing ground, the soft pulse of the bioluminescent surface moving beneath their boots like waves of light. No one spoke at first. They were all thinking the same thing. The symbols carved into the crystal-like walls were not random. They were messages, and for reasons none of them could explain, the messages felt like they were waiting for humans to understand them. The air was calm but carried a quiet hum, almost like a low musical note that vibrated in their chests. The planet did not feel empty. It felt aware. Not threatening, just observant, like a teacher watching a student approach a test. The crew reached the largest crystalline hall, the one they had mapped but had not fully explored. The entrance shimmered as their lights touched it. Dr. Lena Arif stepped forward first, holding a small scanner. She touched its surface gently, and the scanner flickered in response, showing a strange wave pattern. "It reacts to us," she said softly. "Or it recognizes us," replied First Officer Ryan Malik. Captain Alara nodded. "Let's move inside. Stay together, stay alert, and remember, we do not force anything here. This place responds best when we act with patience." They entered the hall. The inside was enormous. The walls rose high into a dome of shimmering crystal arches that reflected the soft blue glow from the floor. Patterns of symbols spiraled upward like a story written around them. The symbols changed in brightness as they walked, as if adjusting to their presence. Commander Yara, head of the engineering division, paused at one of the walls. "Look at this," she said, tracing her finger close to the carved shapes without touching them. "These lines look like sequences. Maybe instructions?" Dr. Lena leaned closer. "Or replies." "Replies to what?" Ryan asked. Lena looked at the patterns again, then at Captain Alara. "To us. or to anyone who enters here. This may be a place that teaches, not by talking, but by responding to how we act. They continued deeper. Maps from their drones had shown that the hall led to multiple chambers, each one shaped differently. But what the drones could not explain was why every chamber seemed to unlock only after the crew physically approached it in person. Their footsteps echoed softly as they neared the first chamber. It was circular, with a smooth floor that reflected their shadows with unusual clarity. In the center stood a column of transparent material, inside which floated a small, glowing orb. When the crew stepped closer, the orb brightened. The hum they had heard outside grew louder, but not uncomfortable, more like a signal that they had activated something. Captain Alara looked at her team. "Let's observe first. No touching." As they watched, the orb shifted. Its light formed shapes, simple shapes at first, a line, a circle, a curve. Then the shapes changed into patterns resembling human numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4. The patterns repeated themselves, but each time in a slightly different order. "It's giving us a sequence," Yara said. "A puzzle." Dr. Lena nodded. "The sequence keeps changing until we show we understand it. This is interactive." "How do we respond?" Ryan asked. Lena looked around the chamber. "Not with speech, maybe with light or movement, maybe—" Before she finished speaking, the orb dimmed, as if waiting for them to decide. Captain Alara raised her wrist device, switched it to manual light mode, and shone a beam of white light in the shape of a line, then a circle, mimicking the pattern they had seen. The orb flashed brightly in approval. The next sequence appeared, this time more complex. The shapes were faster, organized in groups almost like a rhythm. Yara stepped forward. "Let me try." She used a small handheld tool to project the shapes in the correct order. The orb pulsed again, brighter than before, and a deep tone filled the chamber. Then the column surrounding the orb slowly lowered into the floor, revealing another door behind it. The door glowed softly, welcoming them. Rian exhaled. "We solved the first test." "Together," Captain Alara said, "and that might be the point." They stepped through the newly opened doorway. The chamber beyond was different. It was larger, darker, and shaped like an oval. Thin strands of crystal hung from the ceiling like frozen rain, and when the team walked past them, the strands emitted musical tones. Commander Yara touched one gently, and it rang with a pure note that resonated through the hall. Another strand vibrated in response, creating a harmony. "It's like an instrument," she said in awe. Dr. Lena shook her head. "Not an instrument, more like communication, or a memory system." Captain Alara asked, "What do we think this chamber wants from us?" Lena listened carefully as the strands continued to hum. "Harmony, cooperation. The tones are interacting with each other. Maybe we are supposed to help complete the melody." Ryan chuckled nervously. "So the alien test wants us to sing?" "Not sing," Yara said. "Resonate." The strands closest to them shifted tone, forming a simple melody made of 3 notes. Then they paused, waiting. Yara moved to a strand that seemed slightly brighter and gently tapped it. A deep tone rang out. 2 other strands responded instantly, matching the pattern and extending it. The crew realized they weren't playing music, they were completing a pattern. Captain Alara stepped to another strand and flicked it lightly. A soft chime echoed. Dr. Lena joined with another tone, then Ryan, then Yara again. Each tone blended with the last, weaving a gentle melody that filled the chamber with warm light. As the music grew richer, the strands above them brightened, turning from white to gold. The floor began to glow in ripples that moved in perfect rhythm with their tones. Captain Alara felt something shift, something not physical, but emotional. This chamber was measuring not only intelligence, but unity, the ability of individuals to work together toward a shared goal. When the final tone of the melody echoed through the chamber, the strands all glowed at once, forming a dome of brilliant golden light. Then the chamber slowly quieted. The strands dimmed, and a door on the far end opened. "Second test completed," Ryan said softly. "And still no threat," Dr. Lena noted. "Just challenges." "Challenges designed for us," Captain Alara said. "Designed to see who we are." They moved into the next hallway. This one was narrow, with walls that glimmered faintly like frosted glass. As they walked, the walls reflected their movements, showing them elongated shadows and shimmering outlines. Halfway down the hall, the reflections changed. Instead of showing their bodies, the walls displayed swirling patterns of light, patterns that rearranged themselves into shapes the crew recognized as constellations. "Those are Earth constellations," Ryan whispered, "or versions of them." Lena stepped toward the wall, touching it lightly. "This place is adapting. It learns from us, from our ship, from our tools." Captain Alara felt a chill, not of fear but of deep wonder. This place is ancient, far older than Earth, yet it knows us now, and it's communicating through what we understand. The hall ended at a large circular door. This door was different from the others. Instead of glowing or shimmering, it remained perfectly still and clear, like a window made of frozen starlight. As the crew approached, the door brightened and displayed a series of symbols, the same ones they had seen in the earlier chambers. But this time, the symbols formed full sentences. Ryan stared. "Is the door talking?" Lena studied the symbols. "Not talking, showing. It's showing what we've done so far. A record of our actions." The symbols displayed sequences, humans responding to the orb puzzle, completing the harmony challenge, showing cooperation and calm decision-making. The door seemed to acknowledge every step they had taken. Then new symbols appeared, symbols that none of them had seen before. Yara frowned. "What does that mean?" Lena's scanner translated slowly. "It says, 'Final measure. Beyond knowledge. Beyond harmony.'" Captain Alara asked, "What does it want from us?" The scanner finished translating. "Show truth." Ryan blinked. "Truth? How do we show that?" Lena looked uneasy. "Maybe it wants us to show who we really are, or what humanity really is." Before they could discuss further, the door flashed and gently melted away like dissolving ice, revealing a chamber filled with soft white light. The room was empty. No orb, no strands, no devices. Just a smooth floor and curved walls that pulsed faintly. The moment they stepped inside, the door resealed behind them. The light in the chamber dimmed slightly, and then something happened that none of them expected. The walls around them began to project images of Earth, the blue oceans, the green forests, the snow-covered mountains, the busy cities, the faces of people, smiling, crying, working, laughing. Then the images changed. They showed humanity's inventions, machines, medicines, telescopes, spacecraft. They showed moments of discovery, problem-solving, and creativity. Captain Alara realized what the room was doing. It's showing what humanity is. The images shifted again, showing scenes of cooperation, people planting trees together, saving each other from disasters, exploring the unknown side by side. Dr. Lena touched her chest, moved. "It's asking us to understand ourselves, before it judges us." Ryan whispered, "But how do we respond? What do we show?" There was no device in the room, nothing to touch, nothing to activate. Yara stepped forward. "Maybe we don't show anything with tools. Maybe we just speak." Captain Alara took a deep breath and stepped to the center. She looked up at the glowing walls. "We are humans," she said softly. "We make mistakes. But we learn. We grow. We explore because we believe there is always something new to discover. We help each other when we can. We are not perfect, but we try to be better. The walls brightened. Dr. Lena added, "We came here with curiosity, not fear. We want to understand, to connect, if the universe allows." Ryan spoke next. "We work together, even in the most unknown places." Yara smiled a little. "And we love challenges." The chamber glowed brighter with each word they said. Then the light converged in the center of the room, forming a small sphere of pure white energy. The sphere rose slowly into the air, humming gently, and then projected a final message onto the wall. "You have shown truth." The chamber brightened so intensely that they had to shield their eyes, and then the walls became transparent, revealing a path deeper into the planet's heart. Captain Alara exhaled in amazement. "We passed the third test." Ryan smiled. "What do you think the final test will be?" Alara looked ahead at the glowing path. "Something greater than knowledge or unity or truth." Lena whispered, "Then what could it be?" Alara had no answer, but they walked forward together, knowing the last chamber awaited them. Something older than any star chart, something that had been waiting for humans.